Hi 6th grade, I decided to make a video to help you all with your project. Ignore the little noises you hear, it's my little cat. So let's get started. First of all, you're going to get your Dear Chef's letter, which basically just says you're going to be serving 200 people at a party. Remember, 200 is the goal. So you're going to need actually do two separate parts. There will be 200 people per meat recipe and also 200 people per vegetable or vegan recipe. So don't forget, each recipe you need to be doing a serving size of 200 people. Let's take a look at the first page. So like I said, the first page is going to be a letter about feeding 200 people who don't mind having meat in their food. And then the next one is another revision letter that says, okay, now we've got people who want to do vegan recipes only. You will refer to these student template letters last because these are going to be the 5 recipes that you choose. One for the meat and one for the vegetarian. Anything that has letter 2 or document 2, it's going to be for the vegetarian option. Also, this recipe rating score guide is only for you to go through and help decide, based on a rubric, how many points you give it, to determine which recipes you're going to use. Ingredients and unit price, as you see at the top, it doesn't say 1 or 2. It just says ingredients and unit prices. This is going to be all the ingredients listed for the recipes. So here's the ingredients. Here's the brand name. So like that means Oreos versus cream-filled chocolate cookies, which the cream-filled chocolate cookies would be like the store brand. So like the Oreo brand versus cream-filled chocolate cookies, that's an example. You're going to factor in the price for both of those. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. The next one is the ingredient list number 2. This is the one you're going to refer to. You should have written vegetables at the top of this page. So you're going to refer to this ingredient set list for all of your vegan or vegetarian meals. Let's take a look at the very first recipe given. It says, Missy Mix-It's famous spaghetti and meatball recipe. The first thing I want to notice is that it says it's 10 servings. That means if I use everything and follow this recipe just as it says, I'm going to make 10 servings, which means I can feed 10 people out of this recipe. I need to figure out how many servings I need to make of this to make 200. Because remember, my letter said that I need to feed 200 people. So in order to find out how many times I need to make this recipe, I need to divide 200, because that's how many people I need to make for the party, divided by the amount of servings given, which is 10. So 200 divided by 10 equals 20. Okay, 20 is my new magic number. I know that I have to multiply every single ingredient listed by the number 20 because that's going to give me the amount that I need to buy. I'm going to show you how to do that in the next step. Now we need to find out how much it's going to cost us to complete this recipe for 200 people. Remember, 200 people divided by 10 servings, because this recipe makes 10 servings, equals 20. Here's a graph that I've started on one, and yes, you will need to create your own graph or any way that's going to be able to make sense to you that you're going to see how much it's going to cost for name brand and store brand. I kind of messed up on the titles there, so just ignore that. What I did is I wrote down all of the items in that recipe. Now, I made them just generic because I don't need to know that it's a package of uncooked spaghetti. All I need to know is that it's 1 package of spaghetti, half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay? How am I going to find this? Well, I'm going to come over here to my ingredient list. The first thing on my list is olive oil. And it tells me that I need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So I know 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I need to multiply that by 20. Now remember, I got that 20 because I took 200 and divided it by 10. So 3 times 20 is 60. I need to buy 60 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Going over to my ingredient list, I'm going to find olive oil. Okay, 3 tablespoons. For the brand name price, olive oil is 60 cents. So I'm going to come back over here to my paper, and remember, I need 60 tablespoons, and the name brand olive oil is going to cost me 0.60 cents. So then I will multiply that to get my answer. Okay? Over here, you will have your store brand. I'm going to go back to my ingredient list, find olive oil. There it is. Here was the brand name for 60 cents. Now I'm going to look over here at the store brand. That's going to cost me 48 cents. So I'm going to come back up here. I know that I need 60 because 3 times 20 is 60. I've done my name brand. Now I'm going to do the store brand, which was 60 times 0.48 cents. And then I'm going to get my answer. I'm going to do that for all of these. One thing that you will also need to remember, on here, you will notice that some of the items don't have a brand name or store brand item on here, sorry. If it does, come on, focus. If it does, then you're just automatically going to put an X. So let's say if, let's see, which one of these? Okay, we could have stuck with onion. I know that I need 3/4 of an onion. 3/4 times 20 equals, and I'll fill this in later, it will give me that amount. Okay? I will then need to go back and find how much the name brand and how much the store brand is going to cost me for an onion. There's my onion. I look over here. Well, it doesn't give me a brand name price. So that means I'm going to come back over here to where it says name brand or brand name. Sorry, I keep getting this backwards. And I'm just going to put an X. That means that there's not a price given. But if I go back to looking over here, onion, name brand, store brand. Store brand does. I need to multiply that whatever amount it is after I figured it out times $1 to give me my amount here. You're going to do that for every single item on your list for this first recipe. Once I get this filled out, I will go back and tell you what our next step is. When you have finished your table, it should look something like this. You've gone through the recipe. I think this was Missy Mix-It's famous spaghetti recipe. Excuse me. You've gone through, you've written down all the ingredients, the amount you need, how much it is for brand name, and how much it is for store brand. Once you've got all your totals, then you need to go back through and decide which ingredients you're buying. Are you buying name brand or are you buying store brand? Obviously, you probably want to try to save money as much as you can. So you're going to go back through and circle or highlight. I highlighted which one I was going to choose. Obviously, a lot of the store brand is going to be cheaper, but not always. See here, the name brand was $5.60 and the store brand was $6.90. So be careful when you're doing that. You'll see I've put X's on the cup of water. You don't need to buy any water. We're just going to assume that they just use faucet or sink water. I did mess up. I should have done my calculations for how many cups I needed. So just make sure you do that. Once I finish that, I need to add up everything that I've highlighted to get the total cost for my recipe. So to make the Missy Mix-It's famous spaghetti and meatball recipe, it would cost me $350.90. You have 5 meat included spaghetti recipes. You have 5 vegan options with vegetables recipes. What you're going to do with those 5 is create a table like this for every single one, or something like this that I can see how much each item is. Then the next step you're going to take is putting them in order. So here, the first student template letter, it doesn't have a number 2 at the top. So if it doesn't have a number 2, then I know it's the meat included one. Sorry, that's my kitten. There she goes again. So you put your name in the box or on the line there, and then you're going to write the recipes that you think work best to the recipes that you think are the worst. So number 1 will be the best recipe. Number 5 will be the worst recipe. Then down at the bottom where it says our procedure for ranking is, you're going to tell me why you chose that selection. Why did you choose that order? Obviously, I'm not going to give you the real answers because that would just be too easy. And it's a little opinionated. So I just wrote them down in a random order, and I said I chose these based on pricing and creative use of ingredients. So that means, like, I chose Bubba's spaghetti because it was the cheapest and it had the most interesting ingredients, because, like, you could say one included veal and pork instead of just ground beef. Or you can say something like, I chose these because I thought they would be the most delicious. I chose this because it's more like what I'm familiar with, what somebody else makes that I know. Just kind of make it a little personal and a little more opinionated. It doesn't have to just be based on creativity and pricing. For the second letter, you're going to add in the veggie options. So you're going to put your name where it says our team. That's where your name's going to go. That you should use blank. And I would pick the one that you're going to put number 1 to put in there too. And you're going to use the meat options and the vegetable options and create a list from best to worst. And you're going to tell me why you chose those as your options. Tell me why you chose Bubba's spaghetti as the best and you chose Mac's spaghetti with veggie balls as the worst. Tell me your procedure for your ranking, and then you're going to sign it. And once you have finished that, you have finished the project. One page I want to talk about that I think I may have talked about earlier, but I've changed my mind. This was supposed to be kind of like a rubric to help you choose what you want to pick as the best one. Don't worry about that. I want you to make your own inference based on pricing, because I think this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if you ask me. So just throw this page out. You don't need it. Make notes on it if you want to. Kind of give you an idea of how you want to choose from your best one to your worst one, but don't use this as a rubric. Just use it as kind of like, I don't know, a reminder or an idea maker. Once you have finished all that, then you are done.